Stop everything you're doing right now. Take your hand, put it in your pocket, look in that old jar on your shelf, or check that dusty box in your grandpa's closet. Because what I'm about to show you today could be the difference between living paycheck to paycheck and waking up a millionaire. What if I told you there's a coin out there, a single piece of metal, no bigger than your thumb, that is currently worth over $1 million? And the craziest part? Most people who own one have no idea what they're sitting on. Right now today, as you're watching this video, there are coins sitting in shoeboxes, in dresser drawers, tucked away in old collections that are literal treasure chests. And the coin we're exposing today is the absolute king of them all. This is the story of a coin so rare, so historic, so stunning, that it has collectors willing to pay $1 million for just one example. A coin that was struck in 1913, the year the world was on the edge of war. The year the suffragette movement reached its boiling point. A year that changed history forever. And now, it could change your life. Welcome back to Minted Million Coins, where we dig through the treasure chest of history to find the coins that can make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. And today, we're diving into a coin that truly lives up to the name Emperor. Picture the world in 1913. The British Empire stretched across the globe, covering nearly a quarter of the Earth's landmass. At the center of this incredible dominion was King George V, a monarch who would guide his empire through the darkest days of the First World War and witness a world transformed forever. This wasn't just a time of empire. It was a time of incredible technological and societal change. Suffragettes were fighting for women's right to vote. The first stainless steel had just been invented, and the world was on the edge of a new era. The 1913 George V Emperor coin was struck during this incredibly dramatic moment in history. You have to understand, this coin wasn't just currency, it was a symbol of unprecedented global power. The British Empire was the largest the world had ever seen, and the coins of King George V carried that weight of authority and majesty across every corner of the globe. Now, let's talk about what this coin is made of. In FI condition, we're looking at a coin that is composed primarily of either 22-karat gold or high-quality silver, depending on the exact minting. The sovereign versions, yes, the ones that collectors absolutely dream about, were struck in 22-karat gold. We're talking 91.67% pure gold. Each coin weighs approximately 7.98 grams and contains 0.2355 troy ounces of pure gold. Think about this for a second. The metal in your hand is the same type of gold that has been the standard of wealth for thousands of years. From the pharaohs of Egypt to the kings of England, this gold has been revered, treasured, and fought over. And now, it's sitting right there in this coin. The design is absolutely breathtaking. The obverse features the iconic portrait of King George V by the brilliant engraver Bertram McKennell. His likeness is captured in such incredible detail that you can see the wisdom, the power, the absolute command in his eyes. The inscription reads George gives Fef de Gracia, which translates to George V by the grace of God. And on the reverse, you've got the magnificent St. George slaying the dragon design by Benedetto Pastrucci, one of the most beautiful and iconic coin designs in the entire world. That's right, the legendary image of St. George, the patron saint of England, on horseback, slaying the dragon. It represents the triumph of good over evil, civilization over chaos. It was considered so beautiful that it has survived on British coinage for over 200 years. Every time you look at that reverse, you're looking at a masterpiece of art and history combined. This is the kind of coin that makes numismatists weep with joy. The 1913 issue is particularly special because it was struck just before the world was plunged into total war. After WY, the sovereign was never again produced for general circulation. So when you hold a 1913 George V sovereign, you're holding the last of its kind, a relic of a world that existed right before everything changed forever. This historical significance alone sends the value of this coin into the stratosphere. Imagine owning a piece of gold that was minted in the same year that the suffragettes were sacrificing their lives for freedom, a year when the world stood on the precipice of a new age. That's not just a coin, that's a piece of world history. Now, let's get into the unique features that make this coin so incredibly special. First of all, this coin in FI condition, and let me tell you, FI or fine condition for a coin of this age and rarity is absolutely phenomenal. Most of the 1913 George V coins that survive today show significant wear from being passed from hand to hand, from traveling through the bustling markets of London to the far-flung corners of the empire. But in FI condition, this coin shows its striking details beautifully. The portrait of the king is clearly defined, the legends are sharp and readable, and the reverse design retains the magnificent detail that makes this coin a masterpiece. There's something magical about the patina. After more than a century, the surface of this gold coin or silver, depending on the variation, develops a natural, warm glow that cannot be replicated by any modern minting process. This is the kind of patina that tells a story of time, of history, of the thousands of hands that have held this treasure before you. And here's something that gets collectors incredibly excited: the mint marks. Depending on whether this coin was struck at the London Mint or at branch mints like Melbourne or Sydney in Australia, there are different varieties that each have their own unique appeal. The 1913 issue has varieties struck at mints around the world, each one representing the global reach of the British Empire. This coin might have been minted in Australia, traveled across the seas, traded in India, and eventually found its way to America. Its journey is a story of global adventure. Some of these coins were struck with the P mint mark for Perth, M for Melbourne, and S for Sydney. And let me tell you, the rarity and demand for each mint mark can be incredibly different, meaning one specific mint mark could be the key to unlocking an even higher value. Also, the edge of the coin. Look closely, and you'll find the distinctive reeded edge that was designed to prevent clipping, a practice where people would shave off tiny amounts of precious metal from the edges of coins. This security feature shows that even in 1913, the Royal Mint was thinking about protecting the purity and integrity of their currency. This tiny detail makes the coin even more historically fascinating and unique. The 1913 George V Emperor coin is considered a severe rarity in certain conditions. While millions of these coins were originally minted, the vast majority were either melted down, lost, or heavily circulated to the point of being barely recognizable. When you find a coin in FI condition with beautiful details and minimal wear, you're looking at a coin that has survived, a coin that has beaten the odds. Think about this: the mintage for sovereigns in 1913 was over 4.6 million at the Perth Mint alone, and 2.8 million from Melbourne. That sounds like a lot, right? But here's the thing that makes it so rare. Over a century of being melted down, lost in shipwrecks, buried in wars, or simply worn out through years of circulation, it's estimated that only a tiny percentage of these survive in collectible condition today. And when we talk about FI condition, meaning fine condition, that percentage drops even lower. And wait until you hear about the errors. Some 1913 George V coins were struck with misaligned dies, wrong planches, or double strikes. These error coins are worth fortunes because they're so rare. Imagine owning a coin that's one of a kind because of a mistake that happened over 100 years ago. Collectors will pay huge premiums for these production anomalies. The Royal Mint would never produce an error today, they're too careful. But back in 1913, things were different, and those mistakes are now worth their weight in gold, literally. The 1913 is also famous for having certain design varieties. Some examples feature different styles of the king's beard, different positions of the date, and varying degrees of detail in the dragon design. Each of these subtle differences can mean the difference between a coin worth a few $100s and one worth a small fortune. These coins are also highly sought after because of their provenance. Many of these coins were part of massive collections formed by the wealthiest people in the world. Some were buried to avoid Nazi looting during Dewey. Others were preserved in museums for decades. When a 1913 George V coin comes up for auction, you have billionaires, hedge fund managers, and royalty all competing to own it. The exact value of this coin, and I want you to sit down for this, is currently estimated at an astonishing $1 million. That's right, $1 million for a coin that could be sitting in your change jar right now. We're not talking about just any coin, we are talking about a piece of history that has the potential to make you a millionaire overnight. Think about it, one single coin, and your entire life changes. You could pay off your house, buy that dream car, travel the world, start that business you've always dreamed of, and set your family up for generations. All from one coin. The value of the 1913 George V Emperor coin has been skyrocketing in recent years. Investors and collectors are realizing that these coins are not just beautiful pieces of art, but also incredible stores of wealth. The market for rare gold coins has been exploding as people look for investments that are safe, stable, and historically significant. So, there you have it. The incredible 1913 George V Emperor coin, a treasure worth $1 million, waiting to be discovered. Whether you find one in an old family collection or you're smart enough to invest in one, owning this coin is owning a piece of history. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Minted Million Coins, and ring the bell so you never miss a video. I'm bringing you fresh coin content every single day. So stay tuned and let's find that treasure together. And if you have a coin you want me to check, drop it in the comments below. I might feature it in my next video. See you in the next one. Happy hunting, and remember, your fortune is just one coin away.